Hello everyone and welcome back to video number 1000 on the channel. Yes, this is the 1000th subscriber and video special, a 2-in-1. Today we'll have some liveries from yesteryear, but first of all I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who has watched all the previous 999 videos. If you have watched them all, then let me know in the comments below if you've done that. And of course, for everyone who has subscribed to the channel, here's the next 1000 videos, hopefully, and also the next 1000 subscribers. Hopefully it doesn't take 1000 videos to get there as well. But yes, as I said, we've got some liveries from yesteryear. Some you'll recognise, others you probably won't. But let's start with Red Bull. They are rocking, of course, the F122 Driver Career Mode Season 3 livery. Back in F122, I did a Road to Red Bull Career Mode, which then turned into a Porsche Career Mode as well, as we continued after the split between Red Bull and Porsche, with Porsche, McLaren and Williams. And obviously this is a livery that started a series of domination. So I matched one Manuel Fangio's record of winning 4 Drivers World Championships with 4 different teams. Obviously, I know one Manuel won 5, but he won 2 of them with the same team. Yes, obviously it's not exactly the most iconic of designs, to be honest. But then the Red Bull livery isn't the most iconic ones of designs. You know, it was what if Red Bull and Porsche sort of came together, really, and obviously big brands such as Hilton were along as part of that journey. You will see some sponsor Ola, obviously, because these liveries are from different points in different series as well. So just thought a little disclaimer there. Now the Ferrari has actually had a slight accident because it wasn't meant to be this version of the livery. Basically, you should recognise it. It's the livery that we've just had in our F123 Driver Career Mode, but it's the one that was on the Las Vegas livery that I've got, and I seem to have misplaced the file for the other one. So yeah, there's a few little things here and there that don't quite match, obviously, because it wasn't made for this decal set, basically. But other than that, it's mostly okay. Yeah, obviously we're still in F123 Drive Career Mode. That story is not yet completed, but of course we did have one of the most dominant seasons I can ever remember in any career mode, even more dominant than what some of them managed in F122's career mode, winning 10 of the 16 races. I don't think I've ever seen that in any of my career modes in the past. Obviously we're still, this, as I said, the story is still unwritten. Who knows what's going to happen for Alpine career mode? We'll be back on the channel next week. Back to 2021 now. Mercedes, and to be honest, this livery looks better than on this game than it does in F1 2021. Obviously the 2023 Mercedes was a very good looking car, unlike its predecessor rather. But yes, back on 2021 we did a Road to Mercedes, and in Season 3 this was the livery. Back then Ineos was the main title sponsor along with AMG, and basically we took them to the World Championship as well. I think we win at Portugal. It was the first time we had Portugal on the F1 game. I remember that vaguely in the back of my head. But yes, obviously it is a livery that won me a World Championship. Not the last one, Mercedes, because we did that in F122, but yes, it was a challenge trying to win that championship for Mercedes, considering the fact that Red Bull were on the charge at that point in career modes back on F1 2021, and arguably really the last career mode, obviously of course on the last generation of cars. Next up is Lotus, who are sort of representing all the fancy liveries that we've done over the years. There have been so many fancy liveries, like Golf McLaren has been favourites, Renault, we brought them back a few times now. Lotus is the most famous one of mine, because back on F1 2021 the Lotus livery that I made for that game actually featured in Arrow's My Team career mode. So yeah, that is my most famous claim to fame, really. Yeah, in that career mode, that livery, I made the Lotus livery for in that couple of seasons that he had it there. Obviously, this is the F123 version that we featured last year. Along with, we've had so many versions of the McLaren on this year's game. Who knows what we're going to end up with? Obviously, we'll probably start with the pink Alpine when F124 comes around. All that obviously game engine depends on, could limit modding if it's a new engine. Have to get up to speed with a different engine using Unreal Engine 4 or whatever else engine is going to be there, if it is a new engine at all. Now, McLaren is actually, might think it's the Triple Cloud livery. It is not. This is actually representing a series called the F1E mod. It ran for 3 seasons. It was a modded career mode where we basically saw what happened if you put Formula 1 and Formula E together. I've always been tempted to bring it back, but then realising that the amount of effort it would take to get to that series, like all the liveries and everything, took 3 months to make in each of these series, and then for it not, it just suffered from a huge lack of views. So yes, that's why it's sort of, these modded career modes aren't around the channel anymore. They sort of really devolved into driver career mode nowadays. But yes, we did manage to win that, and of course that is the finale of that season, is actually where we're racing today, because we had a finale at Silverstone, being it following the Formula E calendar, and it was me against Hamilton, and I think it came down to some final laps back then. So yes, and we might be repeating the scenario then with some rain at the end of the race. Next up is Alfa Romeo. Now, I really can't, unlike the Mercedes, this one isn't quite living up to the livery that it had back on F1 2020 season 6. This is before F1 22's career mode. This was the most amount of episodes that I'd actually done in any career mode. As well, obviously it was a difficult time. That game was released at a difficult time for us all. But yes, we had a 10 race season 6 in this, in a what was a shocking car. Stuck at the back of the grid. It was an all red, that dark red Alpha colour, and basically we won at a very wet, rain affected Canadian Grand Prix. We also did the last 100% race on the channel in that car as well, back on F1 2020. But yes, obviously we were world champions with Ferrari. We were the reigning world champion. We brought in a load of sponsors to Alfa Romeo, a little bit like what Damon Hill did to Arrows, but with more sponsors than what he managed to bring as well back then. But obviously, this is obviously a farewell to Alfa Romeo, because they're not going to be on the grid from F1 24. Now, Aston Martin's livery is also from another modded series. This is the F1 Project Phoenix series, and it ran for 2 series as well. Basically, again, it suffered from lack of views partly. But yeah, Aston Martin, this is the first of only 2 liveries on the grid that I haven't actually driven as well. Most of the others I've actually driven in some sort of another. I never actually drove this car. F1 Project Phoenix, which is again just another fancy career mode that, with alternative timelines basically. Didn't really have many appearances to be able to sort of see how those timelines would go. Really didn't really get the chance. But yes, today we're remembering that series obviously, and we did, I think remember rightly, we did win in another car. I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head, apologies about that, but yes, it was a few years ago now since we last saw that series on the channel on F1 2021. Now, the next livery for Williams comes from a series called Final Fantasy F1, the first modded career mode on this channel, and there was a Williams Audi livery with Nico Rosberg back then. That's how long ago it was. Back on F1 26, F1 2016. No, it was F1 2017. I think it was that we managed to do it. Yes, basically it's a slightly different cut sail blue, but obviously it had the Martini livery. And actually, look what this is the other of the two cars that I didn't drive back then, because I was in. Well, you'll see the team that I was driving because they actually feature as well. I've also added some other sponsors from other Williams career mode over the years, because Williams have gained a lot more sponsors than they had back then. It's peculiar, but obviously those were the pre-Latifi days back then. So goodness grief, we are going back quite a bit of a way. As well, they didn't really do that much with Williams and Audi. The only memorable moment was Kvyat taking Rosberg out at Monaco back then. Now the penultimate livery is sort of a Alfa Rosso livery. Back F1 2017 was the first full career mode that I did on the channel, and the first car I drove was the Toro Rosso. As well, we didn't do very many episodes on that one, 38, which was the longest until 2020. But yes, it's sort of a bringing back that, and also a slight say goodbye to AlphaTauri as well on the other half of it as well, because AlphaTauri back on F1, they were first announced as part in F1 2020 career mode, and obviously one of the liveries I did was a mock-up AlphaTauri livery as well. So that's the front half of that livery is also representing that as a very black and white livery as well, because they didn't have the navy blue back then, AlphaTauri as a brand as well. But yes, obviously the first, a little bit of a touch, the first ever driver career mode series on this channel, all the way back on F1 2017. And the final livery. Carlsberg don't do F1, but if they did, who knows, might be the best car on the grid. Yes, also from Final Fantasy F1, this time Season 4, Carlsberg were a team. There was no Haas, and Haas are not featuring in today's video, because I only drove them the first time on F1 23 in a career mode. So yes, we are driving in for Carlsberg, and of course our teammate back then was coincidentally Kevin Magnussen. So all those years ago, back on F1 2018 or 19, I think it's been that long. But yes, obviously this team, I think we actually challenged for the title, if not won it. I can't quite remember as well. Especially the fact the team went bankrupt. The H&M team that actually, bought the team after Carlsberg vanished to join Red Bull. We actually, the team suffered a bit of bankruptcy at the end. After like 3-4 races, and Carlsberg came back along with SAS to save the day. So yes, all of those liveries are available in their original form on the channel as well. So yes, today's race though comes from Silverstone. It's a 100% race. That's the main reason for here was the F1 E-Mod finale, and also we might be doing 100% races at the end of F1 23's driver career mode, depending on how quickly I can get those videos out before that comes. But yes, there's rain at the end, just like there was all those years ago. I did try to get some engine mods working, but sadly the sounds again failed. So instead we have equal performance. Remember how through all our game experiments over the years, equal performance, especially in F1 23, saw some tight racing at Austria. Will it be replicated here at Silverstone? We'll have to wait and see, but we're going to start on the hards and then move to the softs. 5 red lights for the 1000th video, and away we go. It's a good start, much better than Ricardo and Piastri, the two Australians, are not having a very good start at all. We are up to P18. We're going to look at our teammate Nico Hulkenberg. Obviously, I was Kevin's teammate for many of these episodes. Many of these episodes as well, as we dive down the inside of our Hulkenberg and up to P17. So we're making some good start on the hards. Just obviously everyone else is on softs. As we're watching Gasly and Bottas as well going side by side. Will Gasly be able to survive around the outside? Obviously they haven't got Alpine's realistic performance, thank goodness, because otherwise they'd be out the back. We're going to dive down the inside now of Gasly's teammate Esteban Ocon. And Ocon has had a poor start, is down to P17. Next up is Logan Sargent in the Williams Audi livery, a livery that I've never heard of Logan at that point, or even his Albon at that point, because it was that long ago. And we tried to have a go at getting overtaking the American, but he was, again, a little bit restricted by the braking assist there, but we are going to have him anyway. Not even with the using ERS, we're just going to go round the outside and just comfortably get in front of the American, who doesn't put up too much of a fight, knowing that he's going to finish in P20. Meanwhile, Gasly up the road, he's having a go at George Russell. There's a bit of contact for Gasly as well, and that might be Gasly losing the front end plate because he's now falling away as well. It's close between Gasly and Norris. I think after they both got it, we're going to make it 3 wide into the penultimate corner. We're going to try and get into the space. Norris was cut through. We're going to go side by side with Gasly there as we go through the final corner, and Gasly I think might have some front wing damage, or not enough though, because he's still there. We're going to squeeze into the inside and just leave him some space and get the position. After all, went for 2, could only get 1 here. We're a little bit wide out the final corner. Then Gasly, obviously on the inside, would always have to brake early to make that corner as well. Now we're running up to Norris, who has apparently front wing damage as well, so he'll be falling back. You can see how much already we're gapping Gasly. It's just a comfortable move into Maggotts and Beckett's really as well. Here's a replay on board with Norris just to show you this move, because I think I think if Norris had a full front wing, he probably wouldn't be fighting us so much, especially that he didn't decide he wanted to yield at that point. Now up at the front, Verstappen and Alonso are squabbling away, and then this is equal cars. We might see this in real life if Verstappen moves to Mercedes, Alonso moves to Red Bull. Who knows what will happen? But they're both going side by side through Copse. Alonso, though, keeps his foot in on the outside, and he's going to keep the position as they go towards Maggotts and Beckett. It's great racing between two world champions on the grid, as we're now having a look. Carlos Sainz, something's definitely happened to Sainz. I think he's also got front wing damage and something else as well, and it's just a comfortable move with DRS on the Spaniard as well. Who didn't he also appear? He might have also appeared in the Carlsberg team as well at some point, although again it's been a long time ago, and that is Norris getting past Sainz as well. So Sainz is really struggling. Now Sargent's going to have a go at the Spaniard, so there's something really wrong with that Ferrari. It's a comfortable move at Copse for the American. Meanwhile up the road we're chasing these two. It's Leclerc and Russell. Neither of them are really having a good race. They're stuck behind a few people, and Russell's getting frustrated that Leclerc isn't making progress as well. And now down the back straight, you can see there's both Alphas and Tsunoda all both ahead of this lot as well up the road, as Russell tries to go round the outside. Will he make it work? Yes, he will. And Leclerc's actually dropped off. We're going to get Lance Stroll now, move up to P11 on the outside, and that's a comfortable move. Stroll apparently has got some engine issue as well, which is why as well. But the man up in P4 is Alex Albon, after a great qualifying from him. I did do qualifying, by the way, although I'm saying that Leclerc, Perez is in there as well, along with Tsunoda, so there's a mixture of people you wouldn't really expect to be in the top 10 there, fighting for consistent points of the equal. That's a lovely move on Charles Leclerc into Maggotts and Beckett. Here's a replay. It was so, we had a great run out of Copse, and then, just opened the steering, went round the outside, And, you know, this Leclerc just gave in at this point. Further as well behind us, Daniel Ricciardo has finally woken up. He's going to have a go at Lance Stroll and the inside of Cops and makes it work. And Danny Rick is up to P12. So Ricciardo is coming. He's there. He's not, you know, after his poor qualifying. Leclerc has another go at us with DRS. Trying to catch Russell and Bottas. You know, you can see there's a huge chunk of cars up the road. But we're not really making much of an indent in them. We're just being overtaken by Leclerc. Our tyres are starting to go off. They're going to what, 2% a lap, and you know we're only on lap number 17 on to 18, but we are going to get back in front of Leclerc immediately on the following lap. Leclerc tries about too much of a battle there though, really, and it's, you know, we have closed the gap, so that was the idea, is to use DRS with Leclerc and try and battle it. Meanwhile, Tsunoda and Perez are going side by side. Red Bull won't like this, of course. But then, of course, you know, when we've ever driven for AlphaTauri, we've always gotten Red Bull's way, and Perez is going to lose some positions. Now it's a sitting duck. As Gasly has now fallen to the back of the field along the side, so both those two are trundling round at the back. You know, they really need to come into the pits, really, but they haven't. As well, and Albon is now getting swamped by Bottas, but they're trying to work together to close that gap. As well, you know, up to Hamilton, Alonso and Verstappen, the top three in this race. We're now getting down the inside of Russell. Albon, Perez and Russell have been too busy squabbling. I've lost each other's time. I've brought Leclerc with me down the inside of Albon at the penultimate corner as well. We've made it work. Leclerc's coming in as well for apparently a front wing change as well. I don't know where he got that, whether he collided with Russell. Lucky he was just there. We made the dive on Albon there to get the position, as well as those two. We're now going to have a go at Sergio Perez round the outside, and there's a bit of contact between myself and Perez. Nothing meant, but I think Perez just got on the curve, and then I had a little bit of a twitch as well. Up at the front, Lewis Hamilton has taken the lead then at the British Grand Prix. As well, because Verstappen and Alonso have been squabbling that much. Hamilton has gone through and he's taken the lead, but Verstappen is, you know, he's going to undercut. Hamilton and Alonso are still out there squabbling. On to mediums. Can he make the one stop work? Probably with the tyre wear, although we will have better tyres on the strategy we're on. Although I don't think we're going to be fighting Verstappen. But then who never say never in Formula 1 again. Alonso's able to defend Colts very well around the outside there as well. But as people start to make their pit stops, Russell and Albon have had a shocker. Russell's now out behind Piastri, and Albon's out behind his teammate, Sargent. We come in at the end of lap number 33. It's been an eventless 10 or so laps, really. Not really much to show there. People having DRS. Being stuck in DRS trains, a few. Hamilton and Alonso swapping positions. But yeah, there are a few gaps out there as well. And hopefully we can slot into a nice gap. We are going to lose a few positions. Probably to Perez and Leclerc, who are there. We're going to come up behind Ricciardo and Piastri. Those two have been, you know, they started from the back with me. And, you know, they've been slicing through the field. Yes. Can we get in front of Sargent? That would be crucial. Yes, we can. And Hulkenberg, I'm hoping Nico can get in front. But we're now just going to be on it. And you can see it starting to get a bit overcast. Rain is definitely on its way. Down the inside of Oscar Piastri. Up to P10. Thank you very much. Next up is Danny Rick. The man who probably should be doing a better considering the fact it's equal cars. But yeah, maybe his AI is not tuned into equal cars because he missed the original experiment that we did back on F123. We died on the inside at the end of the straight. He does trying to come back into Brooklands, but I mean we're not having any of that. And we're up to P10, up to P9 now, as well. Yes, Ricardo did try to do a little bit of a switchback, but then just end up on the outside. Lap 39, we've caught up to Leclerc and Perez, who are just too busy squabbling. We're just going to count them both napping and get both of them in one straight. Yeah, Leclerc blocked off Perez, and then Perez, you know, Leclerc tried to get me, and you know, there was just squabbling after that. Bottas and Tsunoda are also scrambling up the road, so that's going to give us a chance to catch up to them on lap 42. 10 laps remaining. Is this rain coming? We'll have to wait and see. Down the inside of Cops, and we're up on to P6, so we're making very good progress. I think we can get P4 here, and it's an easy move on Tsunoda for P5. Joe is only 3.5 seconds apart. He's had a fantastic race, to be fair, to be P4 for all this time. Someone who hasn't had a good race is Carlos Sainz, who's stuck at the back, and his misery is going to be put to an end early as his car's given up as well. Joe we're now caught to Joe on lap 46. You can see it is starting to rain here. We're going to go round the outside. DRS is still enabled at this point. Round the outside of Joe, and it's a comfortable move. Our tyres are not in that third phase yet. But you can see here, lap 48, I'm just struggling to keep it on the road. It's got a lot wetter, and decided to gamble. We're going to play the cards. We're going to pit for inters. The tyres are going to wear. You don't really want worn tyres on the wet surface, because they'll go past 50% on the rate that they're wearing, especially that front left. Remember what happened to Hamilton back on the British Grand Prix in 2020. You got a puncture, and obviously the punctures are there as well. Although I don't think we'd be quite in puncture range really, but still, this is the bit we're going to have fresh tyres against the grid. They're all there, the worn, medium or hards. Here's Piastri. Something's happened to Ricciardo. I think Ricciardo's had to make another stop as well. We're going to come out behind Hulkenberg, who has got in front of Sargent since we last stopped. We're going to slot in between the two, but we're instantly just going to dive from our teammate and make sure that he doesn't get in the way. We're on a roll here. Next up is Oscar Piastri, and he's just got absolutely no grip on his worn hard tyres, and we're going to relegate him to P10. There's a Lotus in the pits. A few other people are starting to pit. There's a huge dive bomb on Perez there from Narnia and back to make that move. We are going to make it work. Leclerc is at such a shocking exit. It's time for inters. We can definitely get P4 back, but can we get could we get a podium in the 1000th video? This video is not yet. Bottas is easy. So is Tsunoda. Both of them have no grip whatsoever in these conditions. It's like Russia 2021 all over again, with Norris sticking it out on these soft tyres. Zhou has gone wide, and that's P4 surely. As we go round the outside into Magnussen Beckett, we do lift off, but Zhou sees the position, and we're up to P4. Russell has also joined us on, as has Ocon, but both of them are all lapped down, so they're not really going to be making too much of impact. But we have caught up on the final lap to Alonso. He's had a poor exit out of Brooklands. Now we're getting Hamilton onto the old start-finish straight, round the outside as we go side by side towards Cox. Surely Lewis will have to lift in this rain. Yes, he will. We'll go wide anyway. And that just means, can we catch Verstappen? Can we win this race on the final lap, on the 100% race to round off this 1000th epic video in Spa? Verstappen's gone deep, but I've gone deep as well through Magnussen Beckett. Onto the back straight, we're almost off circuit. Verstappen's still there. We've got a little bit of ERS to use, but Verstappen is still there on the left hand side. Surely he'll have to brake early for this corner. Yes, he does. And we have the lead of the British Grand Prix to round off this 1000th video. Through the final corner, we've gone a little bit deep, but Verstappen is just too far back. And we come through the final corner to win from last place the British Grand Prix. Fantastic. Yes, what on earth with the AI thinking there, I do not know. But we, ladies and gentlemen, have won the race from last on the grid. If you have enjoyed this 1000th episode, then hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, see plenty more F123 and F1 racing content. And of course, let me know in the comments below what you think is my best moment from the previous 1000 videos. But yeah, what an ending there. That was where, similar to F1 Emod, where we were racing against Hamilton, bringing back a few memories here. from that memory from over the years. But yes, until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, enjoy your day, and goodbye.